Take a look at what Lerner Tien has done this year. First trophy on clay came in Geneva. Got a top 10 win against fellow American Ben Shelton. Made the quarterfinals in Australia. Youngest American man to do that since 2015. Jimmy, what do you like most about Lerner Tien's game?
I like his mind. That's my favorite part of his game. And you saw it in that piece. Most players are, I want to be the greatest, I want to be number one. I just want to see how far I can go. And he plays as though that's all he's thinking about. He is not uptight. He is not nervous. He had a great result in Australia last year. Then the first time he has to defend points, he does even better. Another sign that he's a guy that doesn't kind of worry so much about the rankings and the accolades. He's just playing to get better, and he's getting better. He's going to be dangerous.
He's beaten a lot of big names. Already taken out Medvedev a couple times, taken out Zverev. We saw we took out Ben Shelton, up to 18 in the world right now. And I mentioned to Jimmy yesterday, he lost first round of the U.S. Open, second round of Wimbledon.
He's got some room,
right?
some runway.
Do you think he cracks the top 10 this year?
I think he could. I think he could, or get very close. I certainly expect him to end and at the end of the season kind of be right on the cusp if he's not there. I like the complete game that he has. Yeah, and there are no real holes, no real weaknesses. He's working on improving certain aspects of his game. The serve is tricky and sneaky good. That can still get better. But you don't often see him make the wrong shot selections depending on where he is in the court. And it's fun to watch him kind of work through matches, make adjustments. That's also not a skill set that you should overlook in a young player, and he has it all.
He certainly, and he's got that leftiness as well. That works to his advantage. Flavio Cobolli is his next opponent here in Paris. And he beat him last year in Beijing. How do you see this match going?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, too. Flavio Cobolli, a player that loves the clay, but has never gotten past the third round of Roland Garros. And so I think that's really interesting for Lerner Tien in that matchup. He has a lot of confidence behind him. I actually really like the matchup. And I think that with the firepower on Cobolli's forehand, Lerner Tien's going to be able to be crafty, make him uncomfortable on that side. And he's improved dramatically. And we've seen that week after week, really. And so I like Lerner Tien in this matchup.
These are two middleweights when you look at them, at least size-wise, but they both have a lot of punch, a lot of power when they need to. Cobolli can serve big, hit big forehands for not the tallest guy, and Lerner Tien as well. The fact that Lerner beat him badly in the fall gives you hope. It is clay, which should favor the Italian a little bit. It's a little bit of a toss-up match to me.
I don't think there's anybody in the draw anymore that when Lerner Tien, I see him, like he's taking on this guy, that I really think
he has no chance.
Right, that he has no chance. Like he's got a chance against anybody left.
Yeah, he matches up well against a lot of players, and particularly the players that are left. So I think he's got to be looking, just one match at a time, of course, but he's got to be feeling very good about his chances and not scared of anybody. And that's the first order of business, especially on this stage.
This guy's the third highest ranked American in the race, third highest ranked American in the world. We'll see what happens, though, at the end of this event.